What's up, Metal Summoners? It is so great to see you guys as always. Halfway through the week, as far as we're concerned, this is exactly where you start your weekend. Welcome to your Island of Misfit Toys with myself and with Angel Alamo, always holding it down here on the Metal Summit. We always enjoy great conversation, good times, and rocking out, and just having an all-around blast. So thank you guys, as always, for following us on our socials, whether it be on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, or even on Twitter X. All of our 70 beloved followers on that. But no, Metal Summoners, we love you guys. The fact of the matter is that you allow us to do these great shows, and we really appreciate you guys for it. We're going to jump right into everything that we've got going on right now. Hey, what's up, CM? We were just talking about you, brother. Thank you so much.
Ears must be ringing.
Absolutely. But Metal Summoners, we're going to jump right into it with a friend of the show, a friend of also alumni of the show. But we are having a little bit of fun this evening with the Suicide Puppets. We've got Verita Suicide in the house. Thank you so much for reaching out to us, brother. And thank you for being down for the experience. Veritas, welcome to the Metal Summit. And how's your day?
Oh, yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. This is pretty awesome, man. But my day's been pretty good so far.
Awesome, man, for sure. Right on. So let's talk a little bit so far about how 2023 has been treating you. You guys definitely seem like you've been active. You've had a lot going on. I saw you recently in Baltimore playing with Illusions of Grandeur. So you've definitely been hitting the road. But so far, how's 2023 been going for yourself and for the band?
2023 has been going pretty awesome. We recorded our new EP back in April, which releases in October. But we recorded that at the beginning of the year. We had a couple of tour offers come through, that one's happening in April of next year, which we're pretty excited about. But yeah, I mean, with the recording of the EP and then doing shows here and there and, going out with Illusions of Grandeur, and the EP release coming up now. So like there's a whirlwind of stuff happening right at this moment. Like it's so much because we're coming up, it's September, we're middle of September now. And the EP drops in less than a month. So like there's a lot happening, a lot of moving parts right now. But yeah, it's been great so far.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, for sure. We talked a touch about this off the air, but just since it's current news, and we like to keep the fans up to date. Of course, based on how much you can talk about the situation, you did recently have an announcement of a departure of one of the members of the band. So we definitely want to wish him the best in all the future endeavors. But is there anything that you can tell your fans, as well as the Metal Summoners fans, of what exactly the situation is with your open guitar slot in Suicide Puppets?
Yeah, unfortunately, one of our guitar players decided to step away from the band. It sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. We are holding up open auditions for the role of rhythm guitar player. So if you want to play rhythm guitar in Suicide Puppets, hit us up on Puppet Merch. I forget my email. puppetmerch@gmail.com. Hit us up on that, or hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. Send us a PM. We'll give you everything you need to get you started, and then we'll set up a day for you to come and audition if you're interested in auditioning to be in Suicide Puppets.
Very, very cool, man. And I've seen the Suicide Puppets a couple of times in a couple of different ways, and I thought this was kind of interesting. So I was a little bit curious when it comes to the sound and the show that you guys put out. I've seen you as a 3-piece when it comes to the guitar players, as well as a 2-piece band most recently. Do you have a preference, or for the style of the band, do you think it works better as a 2-guitar attack versus a 3-guitar attack, or vice versa?
I think the 3-guitar attack is cool, but it brings that extra level of heavy, which I think may be a little too much at times. But the 2-guitar attack is a lot better. It gives a little bit more space, right? So that way you can have, your lead guitar player doing his leads, the rhythm guitar player doing his parts. That way there's not too much of a clash here and there, as far as certain parts go. So yeah, me personally, I think the two guitars better.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Especially too when you've got that gnarly shotgun mic stand that your singer uses. Space can be a value. You kind of need some space.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We do like to come with props when we can.
Absolutely, 100%. Talk a little bit about the incarnation of the Suicide Puppets. How did you guys become a thing, and the style of your stage show? Because it's very unique, from not only very much in about the makeup, the clothes, but as well as just the overall show and style, gesture wise, of the members.
Yeah, so that's been, man, we've been working on that for a number of years. The band first got together It started back in 2005. They originally called Fine Art of Hate, and it was originally just Johnny and Twisty, the lead singer and the bass player. And they started to do some different things, and they put out an ad looking for a drummer, and then they got me. I auditioned. They kept me as a drummer, and then a few months later, we got Verita Suicide, our guitar player. So we were 3-piece for a while. Then we went to a 4-piece. I think at one point we were a 5-piece and then a 6-piece, and now we've scaled back to a 5-piece. But throughout the years, like we've always wanted to have that industrial sound, which I think we hit for the most part. Like, are we true an industrial metal band? We skirt the line a little bit, but the best way to describe us is an industrial metal band through and through. We kind of been working on that like ever since. Like, I know Twisty's original vision for the band was to have more techno music driven with guitars, bass, and drum, but it's just kind of turned into what it is now, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's kind of like a I'm going to use one of my favorite bands right now, Electric Callboy. I love those guys to death. If you ever never heard of them, check them out. But that's literally techno metal, like to a T. So that's kind of what Twisty's original vision was. But we stuck to the industrial side of things. And then, like, as we progressed through the years, we're like, hey, let's stand out a little bit different from everybody else. Let's start doing some like face paint. Like, yeah, we know we're not the first band to ever do it, but we're the first band in our area to do it. So we started doing the face paint, which more of a corpse paint instead of just, like a Star Child or something like, like in Kiss or whatnot. But yeah, so we started doing the corpse paint, and then that kind of evolved over the years. And then the stage show just kind of took on its own persona from that.
Nice. No, right on, man, for sure. When it comes to the touring aspect, whether it's regional things that you guys are working with or in charge of versus what you want in the opportunities of headlining tours, where do you find that your mind works best for that kind of stuff? Are there bands that you pursue for stylistic similarities? Are there bands you pursue because of their particular tier level? Does stuff like that, like, how does your and Twisties and stuff brains work? Because I figure all of that kind of has to come into play.
Well, when it comes to touring, we use a lot of that with our manager. Our manager will go out. He'll say, "Hey, Lan, like this band is looking for someone to go on tour with them," and this band. So a lot of like we did Soulfly in 21 when we went out with Soulfly. Their agency reached out to a bunch of management teams. Our manager just happened to get it. Said, "Hey, do you guys want to put in for this tour?" So we, we're like, "Yeah, it's Soulfly. Who would say no to that, right?" So of course we put in for it. I mean, the odds of us getting it, because we're not, a huge band by any stretch of the imagination, but the odds of us getting it were kind of slim. But then it was a couple months down the road. They're like, "Hey, Suicide Puppet Soulfly is a go." So that was kind of exciting. So it's a lot of it's handled through our management, basically what it comes down to. When it comes to regional stuff, we do that on our own. Like when we did a couple shows with Illusions of Grandeur, we actually reached out to, how'd that work? I think our booking agent reached out to their booking agent or something to make that happen. But a lot of the regional stuff we keep in-house with, between us and like other bands. But when it comes to the larger scale, yeah, our manager handles all that.
Very, very cool, man. Absolutely, for sure. Since we've got you on a little bit of a limited time, Angel, let's kick it up to you, my good man, and the Metal Summoners. How are you doing this evening, my friend?
I am doing super awesome. I'm not complaining at all.
Right on, man. Take it away, my guy.
So, my question is, okay, I forgot it. How did you come up with the name to the band, and was there any concerns about the name Suicide?
So funny you should ask that. So a long time ago, they probably still have them now.
People are coming around saying, "Hey, you can't do that."
Oh yeah. No, I get it. We've gotten some pushback over the years, but a long time ago, you could probably still do it today. I think it was Google or some sort of website. You could like do like band name generators, and it just kind of like popped up a whole bunch of names. And Twisty and Johnny saw Suicide Puppets and thought it was cool. It's a unique name. They took it and ran with it. I wish there was, a little bit more meaning behind the name, but I mean, through the years though, it has taken on a meaning for us personally because we've lost a lot of friends over the years to suicide. So, suicide is definitely a real thing out there, and we're just all puppets in this game of life. So, Suicide Puppets has its own meaning to us now, but initially it was literally just a generated name on a website that we thought was cool. But we have gotten pushback for the name, but it's a shame though, because it's like, listen, like, yeah, I get it. You see Suicide Puppets, like, do you bat an eye when you see Suicide Silence? Like, it's kind of one of those things. Like, yeah, okay, but like, are you guys promoting suicide? No, all of our songs are about serial killers, murder, and death because we're nice and fluffy. Nice. That's the tour shirt.
Yes, the Slaw Tour.
Yeah, that's when we went out with Soulfly.
Hold on
I think.
bring it up.
Yep, I got you, Angel. No worries, brother.
Hold on.
Boom. The Slaw Tour.
Nice.
Yeah. When we that was where was that? That was the Crown in Baltimore.
Oh,
That's when I
okay.
picked that one up.
Nice. I remember.
Which is, I think that was the show that I saw you guys out where a few days later you hit me up.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is all good, brother. Honestly, that's awesome. I'm gonna keep it with Angel for this question, but just on that note, like that's always been Angel and I's biggest thing is like we're about good conversation. We're about bands getting to get out there and anything they want. Angel and I say it all the time. Hey, nobody's too small for us. We're too small for everybody.
Yeah,
so
right.
we love the fact that bands are interested and want to use us as a platform and trust us as a platform. So absolutely,
yeah,
man. So I was like, yeah, dude, absolutely. Let's make it work. So yes, right back to you, Angel.
I'm trying not to laugh at this question from Brian, but I have to.
That's because I'm
You could bring a sacrifice of modern musician for it to happen. Who do you bring back and who do you sacrifice?
Oh boy. All right. I tell you who I would love to bring back is Dimebag Darrell.
Nice.
I would love to bring him back. Who would I sacrifice? Oh, Jesus. Dierks Bentley. Isn't that like a country artist or something? Yeah, no, totally, man. Dimebag would be top on my list.
Give me Peter Steele at the expense of Nicki Minaj.
Oh, good one.
And Megan's a huge Avenged Sevenfold band. That is her band, man. So you'll appreciate this.
Give
but
me Jim
Jimmy
Morrison.
Red Sullivan. That's who you would want.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, Angel. Go ahead, buddy.
Give me Jim Morrison at the expense of Adam Levine. Douchebag from
I like
Room
that one too.
5 or something.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I know you're talking about.
That's a good one.
Oh, chicks don't listen to heavy metal. Yes, they do. They just don't like your music because it sucks.
He's dumb.
If you could have anyone as a new rhythm guitarist, who would it be?
Oh, of course it's from CM.
I thought that too.
Who would it be as a rhythm guitarist? Man. That's a fair question. There's so many damn good guitarists out there. Put me on the spot, CM. You know what? Even though he's more of a lead guitar player, well, yeah, I already said I'd bring Dimebag back, dude. But even though he's more of a rhythm guitar or a lead guitar player, dude, if Zach Wilde would be like, "Hey, can I be in Suicide Puppets?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah!"
Nice.
Okay. So you saw a picture of me and my kit recently. What size is that kick? It's a 22. Both drum sets that I have are custom made for me by SJC Custom Drums. I love their drum sets so much. Delay.
Yeah.
No, sir. Um, what would be if you can have your ideal drum kit, your perfect drum kit? Which one? What would be your ideal perfect drum kit?
Ideal perfect drum kit. I already got it, man. The SJC that I have currently, I love that kit so much. The current one I'm using now. It's white with red skulls and blood dripping all over it. I had it at the show in Baltimore. Um, that I love that kit so much. I just got that. I think back in. I think I've had it. I think I've had it for almost a year now. So yeah, that's a great kit. That's literally my dream kit. I saw something about Jello Biafra there for a second.
Oh, no,
I'm just curious.
That's our boy Brian. Yeah, he said he would sacrifice Jello Biafra and Al Jorgensen with nothing in return.
Oh wow.
Brian, you support us every week, brother, and I love you, man. But I can't give you Al. There's just there's something about ministry that I'm not quite willing to part with yet. I'll admit, I got no problems with the band, but I would by no means call myself a Dead Kennedys fan. So I'm cool with Jello. I'm cool with him going away. Can't give you Al.
yeah. See, that's a tough one for me, man. Because like John Bechtel from Ministry, he does keys and synth of our cover of Twilight Zone.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you did that in The Crown, man. That cover's amazing.
Thank you so much.
It came out so good, man, for sure. Like I was watching that and I was like, I feel like it took a second for people to realize that you were playing Golden Earring.
Yeah, it does.
I was all over it. And honestly, that was, if you played it the last time I saw you, which was Wednesday 13, I might have just missed it only because it's not totally ringing a bell. But
no,
if you didn't play it then. You didn't play. Okay, cool. I was all over it from the start. I was like, oh my God, dude, the Suicide Puppets are playing Danish band Golden Earring. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was one of those things like at practice one day. We're like, let's do a cover. What do we want to do? I don't know. Let's do Twilight Zone. Okay. And then just kind of it turned into what it turned into. It's funny though, when we first started playing that song out, you're totally correct. It takes a second before people are like, oh, holy shit, that's Golden Earring.
Yeah.
And then you see people singing along to the song. What are my sponsorships and endorsements? I'm sponsored by Soul Tone Cymbals, SJC Custom Drums, Collision Drumsticks, and Dirtbag Clothing. Also Smoke Blackcraft, which is the weed version of Blackcraft clothing line. And we just recently got picked up by Parlor Beverage, which is kind of cool. That's Josh Balls from Motionless and White. He's part owner of that beverage company. They do root beer. It's fantastic root beer. It's brewed up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
I have this question. You don't have to answer it, but just curious. What would you say about what percentage of the venues are the ones that are taking a cut out of the band's merch? Just kind of curious too.
The venues that do that, if they are, I can look at it two different ways. We've never run into that situation where a venue has wanted a percentage of our merch sales. So we've been lucky in that aspect. However, if you're at a venue, see, I look at it this way. If you're at a venue and they are supplying someone to sell your merch for you, then I have no problem with them taking a percentage, right? Because you're not doing the work. They are, right? So I'm okay with that. But if you're setting up your own merch table and you're selling your own merch stuff, I think the venue should get fuck all from you. Honestly, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion on it. Oh, also another sponsor I forgot to say is Goblin Alchemy Mead. They make a mead called Blood of the Familiar, which is a Suicide Puppets mead. It's fantastic. Go check them out.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah, because I was gonna say if a venue's gonna do that, then the band should get 30% of the alcohol sales because you're the reason why they're buying alcohol in the first place.
Oh yeah, I agree 110% with that. Yeah, if you're gonna take a cut of my sales, you should give me a cut of yours, 100%.
If that makes sense.
Cheers to that. Do you have a Veritas? Do you have a drink of choice?
I'm
If you
a
drink,
I do. It's typically whiskey.
well, we're already friends, but we can stay friends then.
Oh yeah, man.
No, right on. Sorry, Angel, I cut you off, brother. Right back to you.
No, I was kicking it right back to you.
Oh, no worries, man. Absolutely. One thing, since we were talking about merch, because I was going to bring this up towards the end, but since we were talking about merch, I want to talk to you about it now because I didn't get a chance to get my hands on one at the Crown. So the next time I see you guys live, I need to get my hands on one because I just think it's absolutely pitching. Dude, you have got to talk to the fans about that coffin. Because I need one, bro. I just wasn't able to pick it up at the venue, but I will because I was so committed to my shirt, and then I was like, shit, I need to go back and get the coffin, and everything was packed away, and I didn't want to be that guy. So
that's all right, man. If you want one, just shoot me your address. I'll mail you one, man. Don't worry about it. So
appreciate you, dude. I'll do that.
They're called the Serial Killer Archives. So I believe Twisty came up with the idea for it. He's like, hey man, I got this cool idea. Like when you bought your new car, was there a CD player in it? I said, actually, no, there wasn't. He said, but it still had USB, right? Like, yeah, it still had USB because everybody, everybody uses their phones to listen to music anymore anyway. I was like, yeah, it still had USB. He's like, what if instead of selling CDs, we sell a USB, but it's in the shape of a coffin? And we get our name put on it and whatnot. So we went down that path, and then we're like, well, how are we going to package this? So we came up with the box, and when you open up the box, there's like a card in there. It's a play on Beetlejuice. Instead of the handbook for the recently deceased, it says handbook for the recently slaughtered. And in there is like that kinetic sand type stuff. And there's a little shovel in there and a headstone. And you have to dig the sand out by the headstone to find the coffin USB drive that's got 2 albums on it.
That's so
Dude,
awesome.
we sent one of those to AC Slade just to see what he would say.
That's my buddy, and I saw his post.
Yeah. He's like, this is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So yeah, that was a cool little marketing ploy we came up with, man.
Dude, that's cool, man. No, absolutely. I'll definitely send you an email later with my address and stuff like that for sure, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last Brian. Last car I had with the CD player. Oh my god, that was your mistake. No, I really don't have that much of an issue.
Brian did it all for the nookie. Let's just say that.
He did it all for the nookie, man.
You did it for the nookie, Brian. It's okay.
So let me steer it back a little bit to like the new EP and singles and stuff like that. You guys recently posted. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet because it was like you posted it like right as I was about to start prepping for the show. A cool like reaction to I guess Death Note.
Yeah.
So that's very, very cool. So why don't you talk about Death Note, but also let us know a little bit about what we can expect when it comes to the new EP. Like, again, of course, depending on the time that you can give, like what information you're allowed to release.
Yeah, sure. So Death Note, oh man, we had this, again, another collective idea as a band, like, let's write a song about a serial killer, which most of our songs are about serial killers, but let's put a twist on it. So Death Note is about a musician who's a serial killer, and while they're out on tour, they wind up killing somebody in the audience every single night on tour. So that's what Death Note's basically about. The music video, if you haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@SuicidePuppets1. Check out the video for Death Note. It's really cool. It was produced by Scent Productions. They did a fantastic job with it. It's probably one of the best music videos we've ever done. But there's like murder scenes in it and stuff like that. But that's what Death Note's about. That's the current single that's released off of the EP. The EP is a 5-song EP. We recorded it up in Legacy Recordings up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. It's produced by Josh Balls. It's mixed by Nick Coyle, who's from the band Cold.
Yep.
The orchestration on it was done by Frank Dormani. He does a lot of movie scores and stuff like that. And the programming on 2 of the songs, so the programming on 1,000 Ways to Die and Every Day, the programming was also done by Nick Coyle from Cold. So there was a lot of hands in putting this thing together, and it turned out fantastic. I can't wait for it to be released. It gets released on October 13th, which is Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Because apparently our record label is smart. It gets released via M&O Records. We do have a pre-save link on our Facebook, which we're probably going to post again here really soon. Fair warning, when you click on the pre-save link, it's going to be in French because our record label's in France. However, it is pretty obvious what you're picking because it's got the YouTube and the iTunes and stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw that out there before people are like, what language is this? It's French.
That's funny. How did you land with that record label?
Ironically enough, we use this site called wait, I want to make sure I give you the right site name. Groover. There's a site called Groover where you can submit unreleased music to people for them to review it, just to get there, see how they feel about it and whatnot before you release it out to the world. Well, I just started submitting it to a whole bunch of people, and M&O Music just happened to be one of the ones I submitted it to. And they reached out to me. He's like, hey, Suicide Puppets, I know your band. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, did you guys do a tour with Soulfly? I'm like, well, yeah. And then I started putting 2 and 2 together. M&O Office, which is part of M&O Music, was part of the PR for the Soulfly tour. So that's how that came to be. And they're like, hey, are you guys releasing anything soon? I said, well, we're in the middle of figuring things out. He's like, what do you have? I said, well, what I have right now are demos, and they sound like garbage. It's like, I don't care. Send it to me anyway. So I sent it to him. He's like, yeah. He goes, do you want me to release anything you do? I was like, well, all the new stuff. But yeah, sure. So that's how we landed the deal with M&O Music.
Oh, wow.
And it also helps that our manager has worked with M&O Music before too. So it was kind of like, it just was one of those things that, right place, right time, I guess.
Oh, nice, man. Very cool, for sure. Well, Metal Summoners and Suicide Puppet fans, if you go right now to the TMS Facebook page, you will see, as of 1 minute, the new single from the Suicide Puppets. So if any of you Metal Summoners have not seen Death Note yet, the music video, go right to the TMS Facebook page because it has been posted right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So what can you tell us when it comes to the way that the end of 2023 is shaping up?
Well, we have a couple shows coming up in October. Our EP release party is October 14th, the day after the album releases. The cool thing that we're doing for that is the first 100 fans that get through the door. You gotta be the first 100 to get through the door. Gets a free digital download of the new EP.
Nice.
So that's on October 14th. That's at Love Drafts in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Fantastic venue. If you've never been, I highly recommend you go. We were supposed to do a show on the 15th. Unfortunately, that got canceled. We have a show October 28th up in Saratoga Springs, New York. That's in Rock and Oddities Convention. We're headlining Saturday. Yeah, we're headlining Saturday. So that's the end of October. And then we kind of got a little bit of a lull like towards the end of the year because we're gearing up for what's happening in April of next year. And I can't say much right now, but it's going to be pretty epic.
Absolutely, man. 100% for sure. Angel, let me kick it back down to you guys, man. Metal Summoners, I do apologize, but again, we absolutely have to respect the schedules of our guests, and we do have Veritas Unlimited time. So it is last call for alcohol. Any final questions? I guess, Brian, you would be the dominant person on this, but we love you, bro. Yeah. But Metal Summoners, we love you guys, but it is last call for alcohol. Any final questions, comments, or curiosities that you want to throw at Veritas? This is the time to go ahead and do it.
Me personally, Pornhub. That's what I
There
prefer.
You go.
That's fantastic. I like this guy.
Well, you could do something in a coffin and put it on OnlyFans.
That's true. That's true.
I was thinking about doing that.
Why not? I know a guy that's selling a ton of coffins.
Oh, nice.
Oh, right on. All right, so Brian is familiar with Nick over at Love Drafts. Yeah, we like working with Nick, dude. He's a great promoter. We've never had any issues with him at all. So yeah, he's a great dude. We like working with him.
Mhm.
All right, the only thing I'm going to say about
what
April for next year, the only thing I'm going to say is that it's going to be a Godzilla announcement. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. Sorry. I will say nothing, but I think that gave me everything I needed.
Is there going to be a press release, a press conference, or would you rather
well,
on a
yeah,
little
there's
summit
actually
and make the announcement? Just
yeah, I'll offline. I'll give you guys all the details, and once it's announced, by all means, feel free to also promote it. We are working with a publicist right now, which is going to be coinciding with all this, along with the release of the EP. We're working with Freeman Promotions. They're our new publicist. They've worked with bands like Guar, Ginger, Cradle of Filth, Devil Driver. So the fact that they picked us up to be their publicist speaks volumes. If they think we're good, you know what I mean?
John's really good people.
Oh, cool. So you know him.
I've worked with John for many years.
Nice. Yeah, this is our first run with them. We'll see. We're trying to feel each other out, obviously, but so far everything's been going great. We have nothing but great things to say about John. I might. The way the pools are going, we might need a metalhead in office. I'm just saying.
just what I could picture you running for president, but having Twisty of all people standing next to you as the VP.
Oh yeah.
Let me grab my microphone and my mic stand and tell you guys how it's gonna be.
Here's my shotgun. Fuck off. Yeah. Deal with your pain.
Seriously.
Oh man. Well, it's
any?
while I'm thinking about. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I was just gonna ask, do you have any leftover songs from the EP, and what do you usually do with leftover songs if you have any?
Typically, whenever we're writing anything, there's always leftover everything. So a lot of our songs that we write typically come from bits and pieces of other songs that we put together. We're like, well, these, like you write one part, then you write another part. Those aren't fitting. So let's just throw that over here. And, remember that part we wrote in that song? Let's put that and bring it here. Oh, that works. And then we want to, like, a lot of our songs are Frankenstein, basically. Sometimes, like, we can write a song fully without pulling from other songs. But yeah, we have a ton of stuff still sitting in the pocket for, we have, I think 8 or 9 that I can think of off the top of my head right now that we're still working on, but we're going to take those up to the studio. We're going to go back up to Legacy to record. I don't know if we're going to do another EP or full length, or we might just record singles. We haven't decided what we're going to do yet.
Awesome. Yep, that was my question.
All right, on.
Yeah.
Well, going back to our EP that
13th,
comes out October 13th. When I started writing descriptions of the EP to hand out to different things for whatnot, we didn't do it on purpose, but it just kind of happened. It's basically essentially a concept EP. And we didn't even do that purposely. It just kind of happened. Once we put everything together, like, oh, wait a minute. This is kind of a concept album. Takes you through the ups and downs, trials and tribulations of what happens when you're basically a serial killer.
No, very, very cool for sure. When you look at Suicide Puppets now, as opposed to when you joined the band, how have you seen the progression? Obviously, with everything going on, it's still got to be a good progression. because just playing devil's advocate, there's no reason to be with a situation that you feel isn't progressing the way that you feel is proper for yourself or for the betterment of the opportunity. But
Sure.
when you look back at then versus now, how is it translated to you?
Me personally or the band?
Well, you can do both, but definitely you personally.
Well, I think this would probably go for both personally and for the band. Like we have, over the years, we've grown as musicians as far as writing, learning our instruments a little bit better, just becoming better at our craft. And then, as you evolve as a band and you start figuring out things that you like, you don't like, what direction do we want to do? Well, we kind of want to do this, but we don't want to sound like that because we want to stick out from the crowd. And that's a hard thing to do in today's day and age, especially in the metal genre. You want to do something that makes you stick out a little bit. So we kind of do our research and see what's working for who and what's doing that. Okay, let's pull from there. Let's kind of make our own thing. But yeah, as the music itself, from like when I joined the band, I think it was like 2007. From 2007 till now, the music is drastically way better. Not that our stuff was bad, don't get me wrong, but the writing that we're doing now, but it also helps when you have a producer, because that we learned a lot this last recording session. Love Josh Balls to death. He's a great guy. He beat the ever living piss out of us, but it was worth it in the end. You know what I mean? Because now we listen to the final product, and it's probably literally the best thing we've ever put out.
Nice. Very, very cool. Since you mentioned earlier an affinity for Dimebag Darrell, Angel and I have talked about this with guests many times. What's your take when it comes to the Pantera current reunion? I'll start off with my opinion of it. It's just very, very simple. I am all for it because I do think that music needs to be celebrated. My only thing when it came to it is I don't love the fact that they're calling it Pantera Clean. Not that that's a bad thing. I just personally think they should have done it something similar to what the Misfits are doing, where they're calling it the original Misfits, Glenn Danzig, Jerry Only, featuring Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein. And actually, shout out to our buddy AC Slade, who plays in that band as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. We love AC. And also for the sake of just being that way, shout out to Catfight Coffee.
Yeah.
By AC Slade, because we really do love that shit. Actually, it was really funny. Me and my girlfriend were in Salem not that long ago, because that's where I'm from, and she'd never been. We were in Massachusetts for a wedding, so we took some time to go to Salem just to have a fucking blast. And we went into this one little store, and down on this shelf was a bunch of Catfight coffee. And I was like, babe,
Nice.
check it out. That's my buddy AC's coffee. She looks at me. She's like, babe, I know who AC Slade is. but that's also because she's a Murder Dolls fan, just like me.
Oh, nice.
Of course, I'm just used to saying shit like that and just being dumb. But anyway, AC, we love you. Catfight, keep doing what you're doing.
Hell yeah.
But anyway.
All about Joey and Wednesday 13.
Well, she in the big picture. She's on team Wednesday/Joey when it comes to the Murder Dolls. But that's because next to Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, Joey's our homeboy.
There you go.
But when it came to I liked the way they were putting it out, where it was like the original Misfits, Glenn and Jerry, featuring Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein. I always personally felt it should be something along the lines of Anselmo Brown, Phil Anselmo, Rex Brown, like a celebration of Pantera featuring Zach and Charlie. That's just kind of the way that I kind of felt it would be. I'm a little funky about the fact they're calling it Pantera just simply so clean, but I'm not judging them for it either. But what's your take on stuff like that?
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I when they came to Hershey like a month or so ago, they came to Hershey not too long ago, and I went to that concert. And I got to tell you, if I would have closed my eyes, it literally was Pantera. Like, I think they chose by choosing Zach and Charlie to fill in for those positions. I think was a very, very smart move.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the lineup.
Yeah. Definitely not.
It sounded great. It sounded just like Pantera. Yeah, Vinny and Dime aren't there, unfortunately. But yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying. If they would have advertised it as Pantera featuring, so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't hate. I mean, like I said, I don't hate the fact that they're going out and doing things. Obviously, I'm a huge Pantera fan, so.
Yeah, me too.
But like I said, seeing them in Hershey, if I'd close my eyes, I would just, it was like the original lineup was in front of me anyway.
Nice. And even that's fair. Maybe even I'm being a little bit harsh on the whole like multiple writings. Yeah, but if it was at least like Pantera featuring, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of me that's like, calling it Pantera clean, that's I can't quite get behind that. But I've now known Phil for a few years now. I got to know Phil and his wife Katie very well. They're just great, they're just great people. Not like, and I'm not gonna blow smoke up my own ass. It's not like we talk regularly and stuff. But whenever Phil comes to town, whether it was illegals or Scour or anything like that, I get to see him. I see Katie. We always exchange pleasantries. We get to hug it out. I have a Scour poster hanging up in my bedroom signed by Phil. He's just good people.
Nice.
I've just over the last 6, 7, 8 years gotten, just a good relationship with Phil. So I'm all for the success. But yeah, it's just in a funny world now when it is the music business, especially when it comes to verbiage. That's kind of my thing. And of course, don't get me wrong, there is no one else claiming to be Pantera. But in a world now where you've got you've got 2 LA Guns, it's just we started as a glam metal. Well, we still kind of are, but we started dominantly as a very glam metal show because myself, Angel, our other co-hosts are very 80s glam driven. I just happen to be the more openly goth guy of the show. So that's why I love going after those theatrical, darker bands. But at the same time, especially in that particular genre, there's a lot of history of multiple LA Guns, multiple Faster Pussycats, multiple Bullet Boys, multiple autographs now. So that's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's a little clarity is tricky when it comes to that kind of stuff for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Angel, let me kick it down to you, brother. Do we have anything final before we give it to before we let Veritas clear it up with a couple of the closeouts that I'm going to give them?
Oh my god, it's
Oh my god!
If you could either
and you're asking a drummer that question.
Well, you may be surprised by what I say.
No, it's all good. This is a judgment-free zone.
Oh man. Okay. You want me to do both or just
do both?
I'll do both.
It's too good.
If I could bring back Cliff and sacrifice Lars, would I actually do that? Probably. I might get some flack for that, but I have my reasons.
Well, keep in mind we would lose Jason if that was the case.
Well, you're talking about getting rid of Newstead, but then they have
no. I'm saying if we don't lose Cliff, we probably never get Newstead.
That's true. We never gotten Jason Newstead. Yeah. But I'm just taking the question for face value.
No, that's cool. No worries. So okay. So yes to Cliff. Sorry, Lars. And then so.
Would I bring back Lennon and get rid of Yoko? Yes, I would.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, Lennon, come on. It's Lennon.
Yeah. My girlfriend gives me flack all the time because she and her dad were very, very tight on the Rolling Stones. And so she loves her Rolling Stones, because it's something she connects very passionately with her father. She always gives me a lot of flack for being a Beatles guy. She's like, they're not rock and roll. I'm like, I know, but my mom got me into the Beatles, not the Stones.
Yeah, they were just pop back in the day. That's all.
True.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
But Sgt. Pepper, though, that album is my jam because it's so psychedelically so psychedelically about drugs, damn near from top to bottom.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, we don't know anything. What would music know anything about drugs?
Nothing.
We're all angels and choir boys.
Puppy dogs and sausages.
Snakes, snails, and puppy dog tails.
Oh, hey, real quick. Well, when you were up in Salem, did you stop by the brick and mortar Blackcraft store that's up there now?
We did actually. So Megan goes way. I mean, so do I. But Megan goes way back with Blackcraft.
Nice.
I do love Blackcraft. I think they're great. We definitely did. I've been fortunate enough being from there that I also periodically would go back. So I saw that store literally in different facets, when they were open but still pretty bare, to being open to pretty gnarly, but to be open just now when we went last month. And dude, they are packed. Dude, that place is great. It's really cool, man. So definitely encourage that. But yeah, that was our big thing. There's we love Blackcraft. There's a couple of other Salem stores that I'm very, very big on. My very favorite store probably in the history of just stores, and it happens to be located in Salem, is called Vamp Fangs. Ooh. I love them to death. They're fantastic. Bex and Ben and Lex own Vamp Fangs and put on the Salem Vampires Ball every year.
Nice.
And that store is just really, really great. But there's another store that we went to that I love called Die With Your Boots On. Okay. And that place is really, really cool. And they have like a sister store that we went to for the first time. I'd been aware of the store, but never actually been. But Megan and I went to it together. It's called the Ossuary. It's like their secondary store. It's very female oriented. But if you ever thought of a place that would be just the goth prom, that's where you would go.
Nice.
It was very, very cool. But there's just so many great places, and that place is so near and dear to me. I mean, it's home. It's my favorite place in the world. Yeah. But like in general, it's very cool. And a fun little follow-up is like my thing when it came to Salem, with not living there anymore, and since I've been able to return there more often in recent years, is I'm stoked that I am stoked about it, is I was always very worried with this kind of resurgence of like goth culture mixed with like pop culture. Right. I was always kind of worried that Salem was going to become like a cartoon, was going to become like a parody. When I was living in Salem, which was back in the 80s, Hocus Pocus wasn't even a thing. and even when Hocus Pocus became a thing, and for the record, I love Hocus Pocus.
Oh, sure. Megan, oh, hell yeah.
Megan, not so much. It's not for her. She just thinks it's goofy, but it's all good.
That's what great.
Feast on kids. Isn't that a little weird?
Yeah, she's right. They feast on kids. She's like, they feast on kids. Don't we think that's kind of weird? She's not wrong. I saw the sequel. Look, the sequel gave me everything I wanted. You know, I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. It gave me.
My wife said the same thing.
It doesn't hold a candle to the original, but it does. It doesn't hold a black flame candle to the original, but it just is what it is. But anyway, even when that movie came out, because I saw that movie in the theaters originally, it still stayed as an under the radar kind of thing. But then with the turn of the millennium, with like all kinds of stuff, whether it be Marilyn Manson or just the fact that everything tends to kind of circulate back over at some point. Bands like Bauhaus were getting recognized more, Sisters of Mercy, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
The 2000s definitely had that 80s resurgence, which included a lot of goth culture and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
That was always kind of my fear. So when I started hearing about like things opening up in Salem and getting pushed, like I watched an episode of Ink Master that had an artist whose shop was in Salem and stuff like that. Just little bits of that. That's just basically me being overprotective.
Sure.
But the one thing I will say that I always was aware of, because of the history, and really has rung true, we have an incredibly aggressive historical preservation society. Like, no matter how much money you have to go through the proper channels. You can't just roll up in there as a billionaire and be like, hey, I'm going to buy this land and I'm going to build a huge luxury hotel, because the Salem Historical Society will laugh at you. They'll be like, and you might be like, do you not know who I am? And they're going to be like, oh, we don't care, because do you not know who we are?
Yeah.
And it really has shown to be true, because even Black Craft Cult, they use the old Salem First Bank as the headquarters.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. The outside is exactly the same. When you see where it says like Salem Bank,
Nice.
and the sign, and the inside, like, it's beautiful. You see the old bank vaults that they use as storage with the shelves. They really did everything right. And that's just really what it comes down to and stuff like that. Like, my day job is in a restaurant in Baltimore, Maryland, that is a historically protected building. So I kind of know about that stuff already. But it's just very cool with that. And for anybody who's watching, who's interested in going to Salem, we have a street in Salem called Essex Street. It's basically our equivalent of Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Not so much for the drinking situation where you can obviously drink out on the street, but as far as a stretch, that's the main area of like things to go into, shops and stuff like that. That's kind of our equivalent, where all the surrounding area is still very heavily protected and beautiful. We went to the original Salem like witch house, and that was just awesome.
Hell yeah.
For sure. We definitely don't want to hold you up, Veritas. We really appreciate your time, man, and we definitely want to honor, and you've extended about 10 bonus minutes that we definitely appreciate. Angel, real quick, man, before we go into final like endorsements and stuff from Veritas and Suicide Puppets, has anything popped up from the fans?
Just a few.
Just a few comments.
Oh, jeez, Brian.
Nice ring over the hell of it. Oh. I was bringing Epstein into it.
Brian's on his petty game tonight.
Obey your HOA. I hate my HOA with a passion, but we won't get into that.
For sure, absolutely. Veritas, for anybody looking for yourself or for the Suicide Puppets, where can you be found and where can they find your merch?
Absolutely. Your best bet is go to suicidepuppets.com. That is your gateway to everything. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter X, whatever, SpaceX, whatever it's called these days. So Facebook is facebook.com/Suicide Puppets Band, Instagram Suicide Puppets, Twitter Suicide Puppets, YouTube at Suicide Puppets 1, TikTok at Suicide Puppets. To buy all of our merch, go to puppetmerch.com. There's actually, you can, as soon as you go to the main page, there's the picture of the new EP. If you click on the EP, that'll take you to the pre-save links and you can save it from there. But yeah, that's everywhere you can find us. And we're on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Tidal, Amazon Music, anywhere you get your music, we're there.
Awesome, man. 100% for sure. And the big thing that is always very important to me and Angel, and we really like to address this at the end of every episode, is our biggest thing is how you feel. We appreciate so much, man, that you reached out to us, but even had we reached out to you, that you would have been down for the experience. So it's very important to myself and Angel that you had a good time, that you felt respected, and that you enjoyed the questions that were asked of you, and that this was worth your time.
Oh, absolutely. 110%, man. This was fun.
Awesome, man. Well, you're an alumnus now, man. Yourself and all of the members of the band are welcome anytime. In the bottom of our emails, it should have our contact information, but anything you need, just reach out to me, bro, because I'll email you in a little bit with my address and stuff. But no matter what, man, even if there's stuff you want us to push, let alone the EP, anything that you are like, hey, can you guys throw this up on your page? Just let us know about it. We got you. And also reach out to us if you're ever like, hey, man, I would just love 10 or 20 minutes to just come on your show, just to let you know about this, that, or the other thing. Just hit us up, man. We got you, man. You're part of the family now.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Appreciate that so much.
Absolutely. We appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much. Angel, anything final from yourself, my guy?
Nope, I appreciate
Your time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Metal Summoners, thank you guys so very, very much. Metal Puppet, Suicide Puppeteers, thank you guys so much as well. I'm sure Veritas appreciates all of you that came on to support him in this interview, and we appreciate everybody collectively so much. Make sure that you're following Angel Alamo at Angel Alamo on 78 on Instagram. He also has a Facebook page as well. You can find me at Just a R&R Junkie on Instagram, and you can find me as well on Facebook as well. We appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that you're following the Metal Summit on Facebook, as well as subscribing to our YouTube page, so you can make sure that you are notified every time we have these bitchin' interviews and all of these great guests. So we really, really appreciate all the love and support over 3.5 years that you guys have shown myself and Angel. We really deeply appreciated for you guys. On behalf of Verita Suicide and the Suicide Puppets Camp, we appreciate him so much for giving us some of his time. And on behalf of the Metal Summit, myself and Angel, we love you guys to death. Over the weekend, keep an eye out. Guest announcement for next week is coming. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic weekend. Be good to each other. Horns up, fangs out. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. We will see you guys very, very soon. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.